Pauper currently has a lot of decks in it, and no one has time to list them all. However, here's a guide to every Pauper deck in under 5 minutes. Starting with Burn. This deck has seen a breath of fresh air with the introduction of Planetary Swiftspear, and with 8 different card advantage spells, you will never run out of gas to burn your opponents. Gruul Ponza. If you want to destroy your opponent's lands and your friendships, this is the deck for you. Affinity. As it turns out, banning a Tog didn't do anything to this deck that relies on casting multiple affinity creatures for free. Boggles. It has been in the format since forever, and if you like bolt run strategies, here's the deck you have been looking for. Mono Blue Fairies. If you're familiar with the spirits in Pioneer, this is the Pauper counterpart which relies on small creatures that will tempo your opponents out of the game. Dimir Control, or as it's often called, Dimir Terror. This deck plan is to mill themselves to cast big creatures for cheap and kill your opponents in a couple of turns. Mono Blue Control. Similar to Dimir Terror, but this is the deck you should run if you can't afford the Snuff Out. Also Ephemerate. With multiple creatures with great enter the battlefield effects, this is the best shell to utilize Ephemerate to bury your opponents in raw card advantage. Familiars, aka the most annoying deck to play against. They will lock you out of the game, and you will know why Muldrifter is one of the best Pauper cards ever printed. Jeskai Ephemerate. His familiar shell but with Cleansing Wildfire, aka the whole reason why bridges are not banned from Pauper. Ephemerate Tron. A deck that relies on assembling all 3 Ursa lands as early as turn 3 to attempt to kill you in the most boring way possible. Boros Ephemerate is a more aggressive version of Jeskai Ephemerate, but with Ardent Electromancer and Goliath Paladin as the recursion enablers. Walls Combo. The plan is to put multiple walls to add mana in play to direct cast big spells very early in the game, or to combo your opponents out with Freed from Real. Cowgates. Squadron Hack finally found a deck in Pauper, thanks to the introduction of Basilisk Gate, a card that turns small creatures into deadly assassins. Mono White Heroic is a pseudo Boggles strategy that relies on protecting your creatures, which in return will grow whenever they get targeted by your own spells. Boros Bully is a fan favorite that relies on putting multiple tokens in the battlefield and finish things off with Rally the Peasants. Dimir Fairies. Snuff Out is a strong Pauper card, and casting it for free fits perfectly in tempo strategies. Naya Ephemerate. Sometimes all you need to do is gain a lot of life to win against Burn. Eventually you will kill them with the Basilisk Gates. Boros Synthesizer. Bury your opponents in card advantage and play oversized flyers for free. Simic Ponza. You still have friends left after playing Gruul Ponza? Wait until you play Simic version against them. Slivers. For some reason, all the lords for the tribe are common, and the single thing why this deck is viable in the format. Izzet Fairies. Similar to Mono Blue, except you have access to the best red removal spell in the game, and more cyber options. Serpentine Cure. Magic has mysterious ways to teach us that deck don't need to run creatures to make a board presence with just one card. Goblins. What happens when goblins go to school? Well, we go infinite, of course. Mardu Synthesizer. Same as Boros Synthesizer, but you want to screw your mana mix to have access to a few more cards that may be useful in the long run. Mono Black. It's the perfect deck to get your hands on if you're new to Pauper. Cycle Storm. The plan is to send every creature to the graveyard, to add seemingly infinite mana, return the creatures to your hand, and cycle them again. Elves. The only other tribal deck in the format that can float the board and kill your opponents in multiple ways. Altar Tron. Mir Retriever finally found a home, and it came with new friends. Mono White Aggro. There have been multiple strong white commons printed recently, so it just makes sense to put each on the same deck, right? Black Burn. If you're a madman that likes burn, look no further. John Midrange. The dream is to ramp as fast as you can to cascade an Altisor into a boarding party into any other spell for free and take over games from one turn to another. Kill and Fiend. Mono red with fewer creatures and with a deadly cat that can kill you on turn 3, no joking. Ban Initiative. Muldrifter, Goliath Paladin, and Avenging Hunter met in a tavern and decided that it was time to take over Pauper. Infect. Who needs to deal 20 damage to your opponents when you can deal 10 only, in one swing? Poison Storm. This is what happens when you still want to play Infect but are afraid of attacking and want to play more of a control game. Mono Black Sacrifice. If you enjoy putting counters on creatures and sacrifice strategies overall, this deck has you covered. Mono Green Aggro. If fairies become Nobinet again, River Boa will be there to hunt them. Turbo Foe. It's possible the only mill strategy on the format, and thank god, because no one wants to play the same match for hours. Golgari Midrange, aka this is what happens when you are forced to play Weather the Storm on your Mono Black control deck. Now, if you are new to Pauper and want to test other cool decks, click into that playlist. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.